In a significant legal and political development, Ghana's Supreme Court has suspended a ruling made by Speaker of Parliament, Restent Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, concerning the status of 4 members of Parliament who have opted to run as independent candidates in the upcoming elections. This case, which has sparked intense debates over constitutional law, party discipline, and the separation of powers, also brings into focus the rulings of former Speaker, Professor Mike Oquaye, and statements made by the current Majority Leader, Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markin. As this legal battle unfolds, it threatens to redefine the relationship between key institutions in Ghana's democracy. The issue arose when 4 MPs from the ruling New Patriotic Party declared their intention to contest the 2024 elections as independent candidates, despite being elected under the NPP's banner. In response, the NPP leadership enforced the party's rules, which state that any MP who defies party directives and runs independently is considered to have forfeited their party membership. Speaker Bagbin, citing Article 97, subsection 1, paragraph G of the 1992 Ghanaian Constitution, ruled that these MPs had effectively vacated their seats. The article mandates that an MP must vacate their seat if they cease to be a member of the party under which they were elected. Bagbin's decision was in line with the established understanding that MPs who break away from their party should lose their parliamentary seat, a stance meant to maintain party discipline. The NPP leadership supported this decision, arguing that the MPs' defiance undermined party cohesion and electoral strategy. However, the 4 MPs challenged this ruling in court, arguing that their independent candidacies did not amount to a formal resignation from the party. This legal challenge prompted the Supreme Court's intervention. In a dramatic turn, the Supreme Court decided to suspend Speaker Bagbin's ruling while the case is fully adjudicated. The court's decision to halt the Speaker's action has raised questions about the balance of power between Parliament and the judiciary. The 4 MPs argue that they were not given due process to contest their alleged expulsion from the NPP, and therefore should not lose their seats. This ruling by the court temporarily allows the MPs to remain in Parliament, sparking concerns about whether the judiciary is overreaching into legislative matters, potentially threatening the independence of Parliament. At the heart of the issue is the interpretation of Article 97, 1(g) of Ghana's Constitution. While the Constitution stipulates that an MP must vacate their seat if they cease to be a member of the party under which they were elected, it does not explicitly state whether simply running as an independent candidate would trigger this provision. Speaker Bagbin, however, interpreted the Constitution to mean that any MP who contests as an independent has essentially severed ties with their party. The NPP backed this view, asserting that party loyalty is vital to maintaining a stable political system. Speaker Alban Bagbin is widely regarded as one of Ghana's most experienced legislators. Known for his impartiality and adherence to parliamentary rules, Bagbin's decision was seen as a reflection of his commitment to upholding the integrity of parliamentary democracy. His ruling was consistent with past decisions, particularly those of his predecessor, Professor Mike Oquaye. Bagbin's ruling reinforced the idea that MPs are elected primarily as representatives of political parties, and that breaking ranks with their party undermines the party system that is crucial to Ghana's democracy. This echoes the stance taken by previous speakers, including Professor Oquaye. Bagbin's ruling was consistent with the approach taken by former Speaker Professor Mike Oquaye, who served from 2017 to 2021. Oquaye made several rulings reinforcing party loyalty and discipline, particularly in cases where MPs defied party directives. In 2020, Professor Oquaye ruled on a case where an MP threatened to run as an independent after losing the party primary. He maintained that such actions would result in the MP vacating their seat based on the same Article 97, 1(g). Oquaye's rulings set the foundation for Bagbin's decision, reinforcing the idea that MPs are beholden to their political parties, and any deviation from party loyalty should result in consequences. These precedents have been frequently cited by the NPP leadership and legal experts in support of Bagbin's recent ruling, which was challenged by the majority leader Afenyo Markin, who took the matter to the Supreme Court. Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Markin, the current majority leader, has been a staunch advocate for party discipline and cohesion. Following Speaker Bagbin's ruling, Afenyo Markin expressed his strong support, emphasizing that the integrity of the party system is essential for maintaining a stable parliamentary structure. Afenyo Markin, who is also a legal expert, has stressed that MPs owe their seats to the party on whose ticket they were elected, and any deviation should have consequences. He has consistently argued that allowing MPs to run independently while retaining their seats undermines the authority of political parties and destabilizes parliamentary governance. In his statements, Afenyo Markin has pointed out that the NPP cannot afford internal divisions, especially with the 2024 elections approaching. He cited the rulings of former Speaker OK as proof that strict adherence to party rules has been the norm in recent years. His defense of Bagbin's ruling aligns with the broader party strategy of maintaining unity and discipline within its ranks. Separation of powers, a clash between Parliament and the judiciary. The Supreme Court's intervention has triggered debates about the separation of powers between Ghana's legislative and judicial branches. While the judiciary has the authority to interpret the law, critics argue that the court's involvement in this case undermines the autonomy of Parliament. Supporters of Speaker Bagbin believe that Parliament should be able to manage its internal affairs, including the discipline of its members, without interference from the judiciary. They argue that this case sets a dangerous precedent where the courts can intervene in parliamentary decisions, potentially eroding the independence of the legislature. On the other hand, supporters of the Supreme Court's involvement argue that the judiciary plays a critical role in safeguarding constitutional rights. They contend that the MPs were not given due process and that the court's intervention is necessary to prevent potential abuse of power by Parliament. Politically, the outcome of this case will have significant implications for both the NPP and the wider Ghanaian political landscape. If the Supreme Court ultimately rules in favour of the 4 MPs, it could weaken party discipline and embolden other MPs to challenge party directives, potentially leading to more internal divisions. The NPP, which is gearing up for a fiercely contested election in 2024, cannot afford such fractures within its ranks. If the court sides with the Speaker, it would reaffirm the authority of the party leadership and likely deter other MPs from breaking party ranks in the future. The case has already exposed deeper tensions within the NPP, with some members feeling marginalised by the party's internal selection processes. The 4 MPs involved in the case represent a growing number of legislators who feel that party control is too rigid and stifles their ability to represent their constituents independently. As the case moves toward a final decision, the outcome will have far-reaching consequences for Ghana's democratic institutions. The Supreme Court's ruling will not only determine the fate of the 4 MPs, but could also set a new precedent for the balance of power between Parliament, political parties, and the judiciary. Speaker Bagbin's decision, supported by Majority Leader Afenyo Markin and rooted in the precedent set by Professor Mike Okwei, highlights the critical role of party discipline in Ghana's parliamentary system. The ongoing legal battle underscores the complexities of Ghana's democratic process and the tensions between the rights of MPs and the need for political cohesion. With both Parliament and the judiciary asserting their authority, the final outcome will shape the future of parliamentary governance in Ghana and set the tone for how democratic institutions interact moving forward. This case is not only about the 4 MPs, but also about the integrity of Ghana's democratic processes and the delicate balance of power within its political system.